In my mind, a discussion of customer needs and wants is not complete unless you talk a little bit about house of quality and quality function deployment. So when we look at these elements, these are popular in the Six Sigma arena, where you're looking at lean techniques and lean manufacturing and design. And so what we want to recognize here is it's a 6-step process that we'll talk through, and then we'll give you an example. So the first step when you're doing this house of quality is to identify what the customer wants. And that's often done by interview. It's often done by discussion. Step 2, identify how the product will satisfy that customer. So you're beginning to try and translate and identify specific product characteristics, specific features or attributes, and you're mapping how they're going to connect to those customer wants. So all the wants are served in this model, and you also don't have any unnecessary features that don't directly serve a want. The third step is you're identifying the relationships of the house. How do these things tie together? What's the relationship between two or more things as well? You might have a feature that serves multiple wants. You might have a want that could take 2 features to get served. So there's some mapping and some understanding of that you have to do as well. Also, you're developing importance ratings. We want to recognize that all wants aren't created equal. All of the needs of the customers are not necessarily ranked in the same order. Some things are more important than others, and that's what we do here. So we want to understand from the customer weightings and ratings and how these things compare to one another. Fifth, we want to evaluate competing products that are out there. How well do the competing product offerings fulfill those wants? And then lastly, we want to determine the desirable technical attributes. Where is our performance going to map and compare to existing and expected competition? You do this through something that kind of looks like a house. So you have a basement, you have a main floor, you have this kind of arched roof. So that's the idea of why it's called the house of quality. And there are rating systems and ranking systems there as well, within the body and within the roof. On the far left-hand side, you begin to fill in the what's. What is it that the customer wants? On the upper side, the columns, you're beginning to fill out the hows. And then you begin mapping the relationships and the rankings and the ratings within. You also have a segment to the right where you're doing that for our competitors. So it's a big kind of concept to keep in mind. There is a lot of research, a lot of articles, software out there that helps you do this as well. If you're interested in this and interested in learning more, just check out House of Quality online. You'll get a lot of resources. This is one example that I'll leave with you that you can kind of pause and zoom in on a little bit if you want to take a deeper look. It looks a little bit like a mess if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. But I wanted to show you essentially kind of what one looks like when it's spilled out. And this is a simple design of a cheeseburger. So on the rows on the left-hand side, you're getting some profiles regarding how does the customer define the goodness of a cheeseburger. And then as you go across the columns on top, you'll get some sense of how you as the cheeseburger provider, if the cheeseburger is the product that your company is making, might fulfill those elements of what they want. And then you'll see some relationships in the roof and in the basement of how those things interact and relate. And then again, off to the right-hand side, you'll see how some of the competing products are trying to fulfill those customer needs.